hello there. You look kind of familiar. Have I had the grand fortune of measuring this face before? Well, in any case, what can I help you with? Oh, I see. Then I get the grand pleasure of measuring your face this evening then. Wonderful. So, what exactly do you want all measured today? Is it just the face here? Or we can also measure, for example, if you had any interest in looking at fashion, then we can do the upper body, the lower body as well. Sometimes that information is just nice to keep, just in case. No? Okay, so just the face today. Any particular reason? No? Okay, that's just fine. Give me just a moment. Would you mind just giving me your name? Wonderful. And that's how you prefer to be addressed? Excellent, thank you. Good. So let's just jump right into it. So for this facial measuring appointment, I will of course need to be touching your face. It will be primarily just so that I can adjust my measuring tape. Okay? Alright, wonderful, thank you. So, let's start with the length of the face, I think. And when I say face, I also mean the neck as well. But we're going to start right here with the length of the face. Here. Good. I like to be pretty absolute on the measurements. Good. Just like to double check. After every couple measurements, maybe 2 to 3, I tend to write them down. My brain is akin to a fried egg on a sidewalk sometimes. So I like to make sure that I am not fumbling the measurements. Forehead length. Into the nose here. Good. That's a good solid number. And the chin. Good. there any particular use that you already have in mind with this information? Just curious. I have had quite a few people recently. Just hold still for me here. Quite a few people recently who were looking to get measurements. So this one's about. So that's from forehead to the bottom of the nose. And then let's do from the nose to the bottom of the chin. I tend to be a little focused on my work, and some people like a little bit more talking, some people not so much. I'm just going to come in and let's get the width of the forehead here. If at any point you feel that you wish to speak a little bit more, or you're more than welcome to stay silent. That's okay too. And across the width of the face, the center. There we go. And then let's do the entire bottom of the face, the jaw. From one side of the jaw to the other. Good. So we had the width of the forehead, the width of the widest part of your face, and from jaw to jaw. And then I think, let's see. Well, I want to get a look at the eyebrows here real quick. And we can do about from there to there. Good. And then the other side here. Good. Good. Looks great. Just about equal in length. Eyebrows are not supposed to be identical twins, but oftentimes are more fraternal. Same with the rest of the features of our face. Sometimes we have just something that perhaps is at a bit of a different angle. Maybe it's just the tiniest bit higher than the other. For the most part, everything is just about equal. let's get the width of the eyes, shall we? I think that right here. Good. Okay. Be very careful about coming close to the eyes. Wouldn't that be a story? You were looking to get your face measured, but instead you got your eye poked out. It would be incredibly unprofessional on my part. Though I can assure you, if I were to poke your eye out, you would get the measuring completely free. Though I doubt you would probably want to continue if I've poked your eye out. And let's look at the nose. So I'd like to do a couple of measurements here with the nose. So first, in between the eyebrows. Right about here. Good. And then let's get the bridge of the nose here. Okay. And then I think from the outside of the nair to the other outside of the nair. Okay, I'm gonna have to be a little creative about this. The thing with the nose is that the surface has a lot going on, doesn't it? You have the nairs in the ball of the nose, and trying to put a measuring tape across that can sometimes get a little goofy. I appreciate how still you've been. Makes my job so much easier. I'm not having someone who is kind of all over the place. Not that that can't be worked with as well, just makes it a little easier. If I'm not also wrangling you, trying to wrestle you to get your measurements. So we have the width of the mouth there. Good, and I like to do the width of the chin. Okay, that looks good. How you doing? Okay. Just let me know if you need a break or anything. Oh, I think let us go into... I haven't finished with some of the lengths here. So first, let's go the length of each eye, and And length seems like a strange word. More should be height, shouldn't it? The height of the eye. From eyelid to eyelid here. We can also get a little in there and map out the eye socket as well. Good. Okay. And then I think we are going to break up the nose a little bit. So we have the nose length, but do we have the length of the bridge of the nose? Okay, and the length of the body of the nose here. And let's get the length of the ball of the nose, and then my mental list is about exhausted. See, once we get past 3, especially when they're not exactly connected, the eye is a little bit different than the nose. That's when things start to get a little scrambled. Now, let's see. I'd like to get the height of the nares here, just while we're doing heights, lengths. I have an official spreadsheet that I type this out in, and it'll look much more official. Everything will be a lot more cohesive. This is my first draft. As long as I understand where they go and the measurements are correct, I can clean it up later so that it's much easier to understand. I'd like to get in real close with the lips. So some people have equal lip sizes on the top and bottom. Most people have a little bit of unevenness. You could have a bigger bottom lip or a bigger top lip, and one of them could be a little wider, one of them could be a little thinner. So I'm just going to have you very gently just open your mouth just a little. That, yes, just so I can see that distinction. And this might be just a touch awkward, but I'm just going to get in there real close. And since these are connected, I can easily do a width here on the top and a height on the top. Then we can do a width on the bottom. Good. And a height on the bottom. gotten just about everything with the forehead in terms of the length, height, the width. We've done the eyebrows here. We've gotten quite a bit of measurements on the nose, on this nose of yours. And we have gotten the width and the height of the eyes. And I successfully did not poke you in the eye. Though that alludes to there being a series of eye pokings, which is not correct. I don't know that I've poked anyone in the eye before. I don't plan on starting. We've gotten the eyes. And you know what I haven't really done? We haven't done right here very much. The width of it, or the height, right under the nose, above the lip. Let's see. Don't necessarily need all this tape, but a little more tape is better than a little less tape. So, stay very still for me, and we can do right below the nose, right above the lip, and this is a wonderful area to measure because for the most part it is stretched pretty taut. It's like measuring the forehead, not so much like measuring the nose. And then let's come in here and measure. So I can do both along the lip and below the nose. Below the nose here. Perfect. You have absolutely wonderful proportions. I don't know if anybody's told you that. And before you pshaw me, before you say, oh no, I don't know if I have very nice proportions, let me tell you something. Everyone has beautiful proportions. Everyone. Everyone has a very unique way of looking, even as generic as it may seem upon first glance. Once you get into the math of it, everyone is unique. Everyone has gorgeous proportions. I operate on the assumption that everyone is attractive. Everyone is beautiful. Upon first glance, every single person is gorgeous. The only thing that really changes that is personality. We've done the upper lip here, right in here. We have taken care of the chin quite a bit. And we've gotten along the jaw. But you know what I want to do? I think I want to compare the lengths of each jaw. That's another thing that's fascinating about face measuring, is that upon first glance, most people look very symmetrical. But when you get into the weeds of it, when you actually measure everything out, everybody, every single person, has just tiny little discrepancies. Just tiny ones. And you know what? Despite that, they are still very beautiful. Unless, of course, they have a personality that leaves something to be desired. That's when it gets a little sticky. So long as you are kind and respectful to other people, then you are more than likely much more beautiful than you think you are. Now, let's see. I think I'd like to take the side of the face. I'd like to do a nice big arc here and here. To get a good amount of slack here, because in order to wrap this around, we're going to need a little bit of creativity and a little bit of faith that it'll stay before we get there. Good. Then we can do the other side. And I think I'll make this side easier for myself. And we'll have a lack of math on this one. Right about there. Okay. I have sorely neglected your ears. I think your ears, as well as the neck, we can certainly tackle those. Let's see which one to use. And let's come in here. So we're going to start on this side. I tend to favor this side, but we can work with this side to start. So we have the length of the ear, the height, what have you. And then let's get the width. There we go. Good. And then on the other side, the length. And that's just equal. That is equal. Very good. Very good, I say, as if I'm congratulating you on how you grew your own face. And good with them. All measurements are good as far as I'm concerned. The numbers don't necessarily have any meaning. It's just information. let's work into, for example, we can do the root of the ear, front and back. Come in right here. Good. And then we can come at the back, and this might be just a little bit tricky for me. There we go. Good. And front and back of the root of the ear. Here. There. And then let's get in the back here. There we are. Good. I have to use a little bit more touch here to ascertain where I am. But I believe our hands are the most sensitive parts of our body. They are an incredible tool. I think sometimes people take for granted how incredible it is that we can do some of the things that we do. Like, for example, our fingers. So many different movements in the fingers. So many joints that have different movement, and our arms, the bones rotate. Isn't that just incredible? A little off topic, I know. Let's get back to the measuring. I suppose I just think it's sometimes it's a little sad that people forget how incredible it is for us to be what we are. Sometimes we need a reminder that everything we do is pretty cool. We do some cool things. I suppose I shouldn't say everything we do. Most things we do. Even the act of walking is, well, it's a feat against gravity. It's not something to shake a stick at. So I think let's get the length of the helix and the length of the lobe. Length of the helix, length of the lobe. Good. Okay, the other side. I have to wrap this around a little. It's said that the bigger one's earlobes are, the more fortune they'll have, or the more luck. And this is something that is said in face readings. It's a big thing in Chinese and Indian culture. Let's see. Helix, right helix, left lobe, right lobe. But large earlobes are supposed to represent fortune and luck, like the Buddha. The Buddha is shown with very large earlobes. We had a good, there we go. And that was the same on the other side. done quite a bit on these ears of yours. And we can also look into the neck a little bit. So, if you wouldn't mind just holding your head up high, we want the neck to be pretty neutral. We don't want you to tuck in your chin or extend the neck, but just hold your head as neutrally as you can. And then we'll come in with our measuring tool. Good. And then I think we will get just the general width, and we can also do the circumference after I've written it down. As an aside, it has occurred to me that I did not measure the circumference of your head as well. So the neck is a little bit uncomfortable, but I will have more of a looser measurement on that, or I will be looser about measuring it. So we'll do that first, and then we'll get the head. So I'm just going to put this behind you. And I don't want to exert any force on the neck. And I'm actually just going to put the tip of my finger just underneath that tape so that it does not tighten too much. Good. Alright. Very quick. Now let's get that noggin of yours. Do we need a little bit? I need a little bit more slack. There. So I think all in all, I suppose we didn't need that much slack, but in fact, just needed to be a little bit more mindful. And so we have right about there. We do a little bit of math here. And then we roll up our tape. See here. So I can do from underneath the jaw all the way down, and I can go just to the top of the sternum here. That's a good measurement to have. I think we will grab that one. So hold still for me. This one's going to be a fun one. I have to hold it all the way around and then all the way to I'd love to do here is I'd like to map the eye socket a little bit. So I'm going to need to palpate around the eyes just a little so I can feel those contours where that eye socket begins and ends. For example, I have the bone here and the bone here. The bone here and the bone there, that orbital ridge there. So let's come in with this bad boy. And I'm just going to first, very, very gently, we're just going to feel with the fingertip the boundaries. Very gently. Good. And then I can come in more. Okay, so go ahead and I'm just going to put, that's about where that starts. Good. And then, okay, that's more right here. Good. And then if we measure that, wow, that's an even measurement. Doesn't happen very often, as I've said. Let's get into the width there. So we have right about in here, and then right out there. So think, yeah, right there. Be very careful here. Was that okay for you? That was comfortable enough? Right. If it wasn't, I would not do the other side. It's not a big deal. Just get in, so this should be pretty even. You know what? Let's map that out first and then come in here. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I've got that, so good. Right. And then we'll do there. I just want to run through real quick what I've got so that you can see if there's anything missing. face, side of the face, to your length, width, the root, pre and post auricular, helix, and the lobe. The other side, we have the height, the width, we have the root, we have the helix, and we have the lobe. We have the neck length, width, the circumference, as well as the head circumference, from the chin all the way to the sternum. And we have the eye socket boundaries. Good. Is there anywhere else that you can think of that I might have missed? No, that seems pretty comprehensive, doesn't it? Yes. Actually, I have just one last one. So, I'd like to just look at the cheekbones, if you don't mind. The cheekbones. Yes, let's do one last one. Let's look at the cheekbones. I myself have pretty high cheekbones. It's the Croatian in me. There. While I have the very high cheekbones from my very Slavic family, I do not have the heavy brow ridge, although my brothers were not so lucky. I lucked out. The cheekbones, not the heavy brow. There we go. Good. Cheekbones, cheekbones. Good. I am quite pleased with this, and I hope you are as well. Now, lastly, I need some contact information. It takes me just a couple of days to get this all written up in a very professional looking spreadsheet that is much more legible than my chicken scratch here. So, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love an email or a physical address if you would like to receive it in the physical mail. Email's fine. Just a moment. Good. And would you mind imparting that information upon me? Okay, so first name, last name. Okay. Very good. And that is all I need from you. Is there absolutely anything else I can do for you? Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you so very much for coming into my place of business and having your face measured. Okay? I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you. Bye now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I create primarily medical, alternative medicine / pseudoscience and personal attention ASMR roleplays. If you want to check out a specific category of my videos, my channel playlists have everything from sci-fi to historical to even fantasy videos. If you want to support my work, consider checking out my Patreon profile in the description box, where I offer early access to